like I said, on school enrollment. And one other thing that we have done in Lagos State to encourage SBMC members is that on an annual basis, we have what is called breakfast meeting with His Excellency, wherein all private participation, CSOs, SBMC members, individual organizations, those that have been partnering with government are recognized. And we've been able to recognize all our SBMCs that have assisted government in one way or the other. One was done February early this year. SBMCs, like I said during my first involvement at this forum, is the fact that there was a particular year that SBMC mobilized 22,172,000 in 2012 and 271,000,029 in 2013 to support school programs. I'm sure along the line they will show most of these things. One of the other big areas that our SBMCs have been of assistance is that they assist us to act as a task force to ensure that pupils roaming the streets are usually taken. Some of them are taken to their parents to ask our guardians to know why are they not in schools. You know, we have all of these in various areas. In spite of the cosmopolitan nature of Lagos State, we have been greatly assisted by the involvement of these SBMCs and CSOs. And another areas we have also been encouraging them because they need to be encouraged. Most of them, but not most of them, all of them, as we have been told, are volunteers. So we do annual merit award, and they are equally recognized, just as we recognize our teachers and head teachers. We have annual home economic competition and the like. So other key achievement areas, LGE and community shareholders, they now have better understanding of the SBMC rules because we have our education secretaries that are not even clear, particularly the head teachers too, of what is the involvement of these head teachers, SBMC. They think they are spies, that they want to come and probably report them to government, but it's not really so. And there have been a better understanding, particularly because of the UBEC school level training that is being done to bring all of these people together. As you have been shown this morning, we have one of our pupils with respect to participation of children and women in all this program. CBSOs, we have better understanding of SBMC roles and responsibilities. There have been support by the state actors for SBMC community involvement, both by the Ministry of Education, Education Districts in Lagos State, SUBEB, and LGA. And I must say, and that's one major feature in Lagos State, we have a lot of community, corporate bodies, NGOs, banks, individual philanthropists that have been mobilizing resources to support government, whether rehabilitation of schools, provision of infrastructures, libraries, establishment, name them. There are so many that cannot be mentioned here, be it Orlando, Chevron, individual organizations, some Rotary clubs, Soroptimists, name them, all student associations. So with respect to the civil service society and government partnership, it has greatly, and I can say that without any iota of doubt, that it has enhanced working relationship as partners, and there has been a lot of progress. CSOs now collaborate and have better working relationship, as the presenter said, through information sharing. They have easy access to us. In actual fact, we release money to CSOs to take them when we want to release money to schools for some things. We have all of these CSOs that act as an intermediary for any program that we want to do, particularly for school-based management committees. There have been materials that have been produced, flyers, posters, stickers for SBMC guidelines and policies. And then the implementation of the challenge fund, I've already mentioned that in 25 schools. In Ojo LGA, for instance, 2 motorized engine boats were provided. In Eki, Odoguyon, in Ikorodu, name them, there are so many. And the pictures do not lie. You can see the pictures. There are so many pictures. But what have been the challenges in Lagos State? Chaotic situation in Lagos, transport situation. Some areas are too in the communities are far off that cannot be easily reached. But a lot of attempts is being done to do all of that. So I believe that the next step is the need for us to build the capacity of our social mobilization department, continue to mentor the SBMC and monitor their activities, exchange visits and experience sharing, and so on and so forth. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma, for this very interesting presentation. It's a high compliment, to the first presentation. And, we'll just take the next presenter quickly before we give some insights into it through our discussions.
Thank you very much. Well, mine is on the achievement and challenges with the civil society organization. Well, like the previous speakers have mentioned, we in Kaduna, we don't view the activities of the CSOs contrary to our being coming closer to them. Truly speaking, we regard them as people who are only aggressive, and they are ignorant on the government's modus operandi. They behave like police when they come to the organization. This is our thinking. And they believe in only putting their issues, whatever they might have come across it, you'll only see it on the national dailies. Instead of coming to the government to share ideas, ask questions, and feel that maybe these things are big life. But however, with the coming of SP in 2009, they were the first development partner that tries to bridge the gap between the civil society organization and government. They identified 6 civil society organizations, engaged them in the 165 pilot school in 7 LGS. That was in 2009. And when we are rolling out our SBMC training to additional number of schools using the SBIN model, we maintained the 6 that SBIN started with and added additional 6 civil society organizations. That shows that there's a kind of understanding. We are beginning to understand each other. We maintained the 6 and brought in additional 6, making 12. So we used this 12 civil society organizations. And from there, we used to hold regular roundtable discussion with them. Since we've given them an assignment, engaging them in trying to roll out the SBMC training, they send in reports to us. That reports that emanate from the school level to the LGA level will come to my table. After going through everything, we'll sit down and then critique it with my staff. At the end of the day, we'll bring out the good side of what they have done and the negative side where it requires some improvement. Then through that, we used to invite them for a meeting. We'll sit down together and then look at the good side of what they have done and the other negative side that requires improvement. Then we'll allow them also to critique what the department is doing or what the board is doing. Through this, there was a kind of good understanding between the society organization and the SUBEC. As a result of this kind of understanding, it got to another stage whereby they feel free to write to the board and say, look, we want to see the chairman of the board. So I used to arrange that kind of advocacy visit for the 12 society organization to the SUBEC management. And I can recall vividly, it was indeed a very, very interesting visit. In one of the visits, I learned that when they came, they were not happy with certain things. All Papa is there, he was the leader of the team, he can attest to that. They told the chairman to his face, we are not happy with what the department is doing. Director is never in the side of us. He's doing this, he's doing that. And you see, through that, chairman was able to respond, and he allowed me to respond. Then we understand and perfect our differences. At a point in time, when it comes, since then, whenever we are going to develop our budget for future rollout, we used to invite them. We'll sit down together, develop the budget together, because they claim that sometimes we sit down and just allocate money, not mindful of the kind of terrain they are going to move. And we now agree, we'll sit down with them, develop the budget, give it to them, they will critique it, raise their observations, amend where it is amended, and then we pass it. And then so indeed, to be frank, honestly, the rapport has been very cordial. And as a result of that, these are some of the achievements that I'm just going to highlight as Kaduna State experience. Now the civil society organization partner with government, and they are playing their roles as key. They are playing their own role as key players in the delivery of basic education. They support the state in educating, influencing the communities to understand, accept, participate in government programs and policies. They agree to work with, for the interests of the state and the communities. As communities, they support our communities to have a voice, as most communities now, including as most communities, make a kind of formal demand, either in writing or by delegation to the chairman. If they are in need of additional classroom, they are lacking teachers, teaching materials, they will write to the Honorable Commissioner, to the chairman, or they will come in person and say, this is what we need. This is as a result of the contribution of the CSOs in Kaduna State. From the little amount that we normally give it to them, the same CSO that we engage will take part of that particular money, either construct additional classrooms in some schools, or buy teaching materials, or enhance the capacity of SBMC members other than the ones we've selected for that particular training for the year. Support various SBMCs in organizing regular community forums at district level and local government level. And in such kind of fora, you realize that members of the National Assembly, the Honorable Commissioner, the SWIP Chairman, the Local Government Council Chairman will be in attendance. So it serves as an avenue where issues that are burning issues from within the community can straight be asked, while the person concerned will be there to answer. And at the end of the day, we articulate all the findings and then forward same to His Excellency, to the Honorable Commissioner, and those that could be attended to by the board will be done so. There is a harmonious working relationship between the SMOs and the society organization at the local government level. Before, they don't have the right to go. Now they can go and discuss with them, find issues, and then come back to the board and then sort out this or ask for their questions. As a result of this contribution, the communities are beginning to accept ownership, just like the chairman has said. For example, the communities are now waging war. I'm almost rounding up. Waging war online encroachment. They are against the erection of unnecessary structures around the school. And the board now is in support of the communities by employing the services of a legal advisor, who is, in addition to other things, is supporting the communities whenever there are cases in the court. Then on the challenges, partnership, as you may all be aware, is a new thing. So as such, it's just like a marriage between a couple. For them to understand each other, it will take time. So that is why between government and the civil society organization, we both of us require a lot of patience. It is a new thing altogether, especially that it has to do with the community engagement. The community engagement too is a new thing also, which requires additional patience, understanding, because if you don't understand the concept, it will be very difficult for you to understand. I believe my colleagues, the directors here, even how to convince the other departments to understand what the SBMC is all about, or what the role of the society organization is all about. Talk less of trying to convince the management to accept. It's a tug of war. So it's another big challenge. Then community engagement in government is gradually being understood, like I said. How to get, another big challenge is how to get a special fund, either from the state or from the federal government. Specifically on what? Specifically to at least support the civil society organizations. Because what I believe we're giving them now is just a little amount to make them engage, but it's not a contract issue. So as a result of this now, if I can get substantial amount of money from the state or from the federal, truly speaking, the civil society organization will always be there to support us and move into, no matter how bad the terrain is, they will be there. Thank you.
You can agree with me that many of us are now passionate about the contribution of civil society to the development of education. We can continue talking about this for all day, but I would like the discussants that we have here on table to give us their views in 2 minutes of their relationship with civil society. I want the UBEC representative to speak first.
Thank you very much. Actually, from Universal Basic Education Commission, we believe that education for all, that's our popular slogan. Please help me, Henry. Education for all, including everybody that has talked. And we believe that civil society, they are critical stakeholders in basic education. They stay they stay with the members of the community. When a stranger, maybe a UBEC staff from East, sent to the North to tell them about something, obviously at times they don't believe. But when you talk through the civil society, somebody who has stayed within them, they have that trust, that belief, and they are able to, and they are able to listen to them and make us to achieve whatever we are. And that is why we always look at civil society members as friends of UBEC. UBEC, we normally partner through SACEFA. And when we have any monitoring, because we don't have anything to cover up, when we go for any monitoring exercise, especially self-help projects, which are situated in various communities, you see in every state we involve civil society organizations, because we believe they will tell us the truth. Our bosses believe that if you can go and connive the civil society member who is expected to give an independent opinion, will not deceive. So we've been partnering with them. We see them as our friends. And that is why it's one of those reasons that made us to embrace the SP model, because the civil society organizations are given prominence in the establishment of SBMC. Another thing, just like my DSM from Kaduna said, civil society organizations, they don't fear any government boss. In the sense that if you are doing something bad in a school, something is happening in your school, they will go to the boss and tell them the truth. When something happens in a school, the head teacher, will be very careful in talking to education secretary. But you see, when the civil society organization are involved, they will tell you want to see the SUBEB chairman, and they will go there. He has told you that many of them have gone to meet the chairman to complain about their school. And when the chairman refuses to do something, they continue to pester that chairman. Just for their wahala, he has no choice than to do. If we leave it, the other members may be afraid. But the civil society organization, for their boldness, we've been partners together, and we are always willing to work with them. Thank you very much.
Let me take somebody from here.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Bala Usman from Jigawa State, representing the civil society organizations. Based on the presentations given, I would like to comment on some of the issues raised by the speakers. It is a common notion that civil society organizations are seen as agents that criticize government policies at times. However, when it comes to education, in Jigawa State especially, we look at it from another angle. We said we should not engage our government or any agency in the initial perspectives or maybe perception of being agents that criticize whatever is given. However, we said we have to make sure that the government understands what we are yearning for, and also avail ourselves to any query or any questions that will be brought or raised by that government agencies. I could remember even before SB, before 2009, there were civil society organizations that work in education sector. But unfortunately at that time, the work was not all that coordinated. Everybody was almost like on his own. You are doing it because of the instinct you have or the passion you have for education. But when SBIN came, we were mainstream. Our activities becomes more coordinated, and we have almost a common goal. So anybody that works in the education sector actually works towards achieving that particular goal. In 2009, for instance, I could remember when we called for a meeting after the baseline survey in Jigawa State. when there was that perception that civil society organizations are always leveling government, we called the stakeholders. I could remember we invited the permanent secretary, Minister of Education at that time. When we said this is the situation, this is what we are seeing, he took offense from what you said and he started making a lot of complaints. We say, yeah. Some of us were saying we cannot continue. Some are saying, in as much as this is the reality and the government is seeing it from another perspective, then we should stop doing it. But we say, no, we cannot. Since we have the fashion and we are committed to it, let's keep doing it. And at least this is the initial step of the process. So maybe when the time, when it continues, everyone will understand where we are going. So actually, as a civil society organization, we really enjoy the support of our government in Jigawa State, simply because we make sure that we do not criticize all the things that is we observe, but rather we critique whatever the government does. And we make sure that also we are patient to what the government expects from us, because you can take a program or maybe an activity, the government may not agree to that or subscribe to what you've taken in as much as you have no patience to what you are taking on, certainly there is going to be a problem to whatever we are doing. So despite the accord we enjoy from the government and civil society partnership, we still also have some challenges, one of which is some of the protocols or the bureaucratic processes that are involved in some of the things that we do. For instance, we tell a community that there is one program or something is coming up. Unfortunately, the government may not be comfortable at that point to ensure to actualize what we've already said to the community. So the community will keep on hammering us, and we cannot find any because of this. So that is actually legislation in some of the things that happen in Jigawa State is very important. So in a nutshell, all the achievements we recorded in Jigawa State depends on the sincerity we've shown in the system, and also the commitment, perseverance, and the patience we demonstrated along the process. And of course, if you can see, all the team are here, and we have a very respectable team. We can go to any table, at any point. They call us, we go, and we interact in a very respectful. So that is a very significant achievement. In the final note, ma'am, I think if there are two things that I enjoy the most in the whole work we've done in Jigawa State, is to do in relation to the SBMC development activity, is number one, developing the capacity of the SBMC to pursue issue-based advocacy. The chair is here, all the stakeholders are here. Sometimes we don't even know, the community will come to Subeb and say, this is the problem, and this is the reality. It's only when they've done their advocacy that Subeb will contact us. And another thing is the voice of the child. Sorry, there are many things actually to speak. Yeah, so let me hand over the things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. From all that has been said, I once said it, that the relationship between the CSOs and the government have been so super. And I told us the other time that we have enjoyed this relationship so much, so well, that even what we think we can't achieve, we have been able to achieve with the existence of the CSOs. I want to give us two challenges that we must have been having. I mean, we are having at our own state level. You see, this issue of bottleneck or bureaucratic process has been delaying a lot of things. Before we get things done, it takes a lot of processes. But with the coming of the CSOs, I remember we normally have what we call a tripartite meeting. The meetings between the Honorable Commissioner, the SPIN, including the CSOs and other MDAs. There are a lot of pressures that are being put upon these government officials, especially those at the ends of affairs, just for us to have our ways, just for us to get what we want. And that has been the operations all along. So, with the CSOs around us, I know what we have, this issue of SBMCs will go further and further at the end of the day, and we shall have success. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to call on Mr. Adefe of Lagos State to give us his own views.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I want to thank SPIN for contracting what seems to be an impossible marriage, a marriage between the deaf and the dumb. And the deaf indicates that the CSO we are not willing to hear, to listen. And the dumb, the government, not ready to talk. But SP was able to contract that marriage successfully. And how was it possible? This was because they were able to do a good research in the selection process through which they pick those that are very relevant and can deliver. And this is because majority of us do not even know the roles and responsibilities of this CSO. There are so many that are into education, there are so many that are into child support and whatever, and into health. And all this matter in the success of education in the community. So they did that through the selection process. And again, there's this element of trust. They believe that they can do it, and we open ourselves to them. There is one thing that we did that actually assisted in Lagos State, and that is the total involvement of CSOs in our programs, even to the extent of preparing the medium-term sector strategy. You know, if you involve them in the preparation of the budget, definitely they will work along with you. They know how much you have in our budget, they know the areas where we are going to use it, and they are ready to support us in that area to achieve our goal. So that understanding was there, and that really helped us in achieving that. Apart from the issue of involvement, there is transparency. We put all our cards on the table for them to know this is what we want to do a training, we want to go into community forum, scoping or monitoring, this is how much you have, this is the extent we want you to work. And they even add their own money. They are not always after money because they have the passion. So we should look into all these things to get those that are committed, that have the interest of child education before we select who we want to use as CSO. And again, we need to see them from their own angles too. They also have challenges because they don't have some other job where they get money. So they get money from philanthropists, from supporters. We must always be ready to give them support to ensure that they be able to